everybody, welcome back to RRanchAdventures. Pardon my messy garage, but we had hoped to do this outside, but the rain will not let up and the anticipation is killing me. I got a new toy for my tractor and a MechMaxx Stump Grinder that's a PTO driven stump grinder that fastens to the back of the tractor. And I want to see this thing. We've kept it in the box under wraps, but the weather is not cooperating, so we're gonna pop this open and we're gonna bring you along with us. It's like Christmas, man. So, if you've been following our channel, you know that we have 46 acres out in the woods of East Texas, and we have lots of trees, and we are making trails and all kinds of stuff out there. Well, one of the obstacles that we're running into is being able to get rid of the stumps in the trails, and so we figured this might be an awesome solution to be able to do that and make it easier to level or grade our trails. So let's see if this will come off. Oh, it's coming off. It's coming off. Come on, man.
It's all right.
All right. So this is it. Doesn't look like much in there. I'm not going to unpackage it all tonight just because it's wet and I don't have any place to work. But we got this thing from MechMaxx, which is, I believe, relatively new into the market. We looked at Woodland Mills and Baumolite as a couple of other options. I decided to go with this one because of the price. They had some really good deals going on, and they were also offering free freight, which is a huge savings since this thing weighs package for freight 575 pounds. So it was delivered here to the house. I had to bring the tractor home from the property, was able to use the forks to get it off the truck and bring it in there into the garage. Yay, I'm excited. Finish unpacking this and get it put together and put on the tractor. We're gonna bring you along for that when we finish uncrating this, do the final assembly, and set it up for operations. Today I've got Corey behind the camera, Cole, and Brexton up in the tractor seat helping me out. We are going to do the setup on this new MechMaxx SG24 Stump Grinder for the tractor. There she is, guys, in all her glory, in almost John Deere green. You could also get it in orange if you're a Kubota guy. It comes with a nice crate, by the way. I am going to keep this crate and I'm going to put it back together. I'm going to put wheels on the bottom and a table deck on top, so it's going to be a roll around storage cabinet when I'm done. So I'm going to keep that for that. So let's get going on knocking this out. Just FYI, you need a 1/2-inch socket in order to remove the bolts to get this cage off the top. So there's another 2 bolts on these feet right here holding it down, so I'm working on getting those off now.
Dada.
What? So while Corey's pulling the plastic off, the assembly is pretty simple on this thing. There's only like 3 things that we have to do to assemble the actual unit itself. But then we have the drive shaft, which has a slip clutch in it. And we do have some adjustment and a little break-in steps that we have to do on the slip clutch on the drive shaft. We also have to measure the shaft to make sure that it's the right length. If the shaft is shorter than a certain length, the distance between the shaft on the flywheel of the stump grinder and the PTO on the tractor, then I'm going to have to cut the shaft. I'm hoping I don't have to do that. This package really nice. The paint looks really good. The 3 steps that I have to actually assemble is going to be to put this on, which this bolts down right here. There's also tools and the bolts and stuff in here. I have to flip this around and bolt that on. And then there is a chip guard that goes down here on the side. I've got to bolt that on. I took this off. I think the screws are in here for, all right, we got some tools in here. Let's see what all we got in here. I think that's the wrench for the teeth, to tighten the teeth up. Got a 19, a 13, a 17, and a 15. Oh, we got more wrenches. It looks like we have all the wrenches we need to work on this thing right here. So I'm gonna set those aside for now. Should be all the hardware I need in here. Looks like we're good. So we should have 4, I'm dropping stuff, 4 of these bolts, I think, which are gonna be used to secure this piece right here. Let me see, looks like we got 4 washers and 4 lock washers to go with that. The lock washer on there, in the washer. Then we're gonna flip this bad boy over like that, and these should be threaded holes. There we go. Again, we're going lock washer and then the regular washer. Showing you, got the nut. You want to put the lock washer on, then put the regular washer, and then it's a tapped hole, so we're just going to slide it in the hole. Ooh, it's warm out here. I could put a cheater pipe on here, but I'm pretty sure I'd spread this wrench. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the little tool holder back on here. In order to put it on, because of where these holes are, you're gonna have to take the lid off. And since pointing this way will be the side that I get off the tractor, I'm gonna go ahead and just orient it facing that way. I know some of the other videos I've seen, it was pointing the other way. I don't think it matters one little bit which way it goes. What are you talking about up there? I know, you're my expert tractor operator.
Corey, how's married life? Give the world an update with the haircut. And the...
Yeah, y'all know I used to have a mullet, not anymore. Got married. She definitely had some say in that one for sure. But so far, so good. You know, next Monday, Labor Day, will be 1 month. So survived 1 month. So it's been good so far.
You know she's going to see this video, so you got to be very careful about what you say.
Absolutely.
We couldn't be happier to add Jaden to the family.
Woo.
Good.
You know, most people don't know this, but you can put your tools in there. Do you love your grandbabies? Buy them a tractor. Women, don't trust your men to be left alone with a baby. Otherwise, you get toys ordered. Sorry, Mom.
So because I'm using a John Deere iMatch, I need to use some bushings. So I've got the bushings. I'm going to go ahead and install those now. I just had to pull this pin here. So that's the middle link bushing, or top link bushing, sorry, not the middle link bushing. I'm going to put this back on there. I got these 2 lower links here. So we're going to put these in also. Just as simple as pulling these pins, putting those in there, and then putting these pins back on. That's all there is to it right there.
And what do these spacers do?
They take up the gap in here because I can't remember if it's a class 1 or a class 2 that we're converting to. But the size of the opening on the John Deere is wider than what's typically used on this size of tractor. So these just help take up some of the slack. I ordered these off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below if you happen to have an iMatch also. All right, now I'm gonna have Cole go ahead and hook this back up. Man, this is awesome having my boys help me out. Just wish Cameron and Campbell were here. We'd be good to go. All right, so I've got 2 more things to go ahead and install. There's a saw holder that goes here, and then there's a little safety plate that goes here. I'm gonna go ahead and put those on now. All right, so there's 3 holes here in the stump grinder, and here's the plate. It's also got 3 holes in it. Just goes on top like that, and put some screws in them, and we'll tighten them down. So we got that. I do believe that the saw holder is in the box.
So how does that work?
So the chainsaw blade goes through this, then you tighten it down, and then the saw sets on there. And it's only for transport. You don't do it when you're actually cutting. Looks like it. But yeah, your saw just goes on there. You tighten that down, clamps the blade in there, or the bar, and your saw's here. And again, it's just for transport purposes. This is not to be meant to hold your saw while you're actually using the stump grinder. All right, so we've got it on the tractor. We've got the chip protection plate here, the saw holder. We've got the toolbox holder right here. And we put the bushings in for the iMatch for the John Deere. Next thing is to put the drive shaft on. The PTO shaft has a slip clutch in it, but we have to take a measurement from the locking grooves on the tractor shaft and the locking grooves on the shaft on the stump grinder. That has to be at least 35 inches. If it is not 35 inches, then I'm gonna have to cut the shaft. And I'm really hoping I don't have to do that. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to lower this so that the shafts are pretty much parallel from each other. And then we're gonna get that measurement. Now we're gonna take this tape measure and get a measurement from this groove all the way to this groove. And we are golden. We are 39.5 inches. It says that if you're not more than 6 inches longer than the shaft, that you're good to go. We're not below the 35 inches, so we don't have to cut the shaft. All right, so these 2 boys of mine are gonna help me with this part. We went ahead and we pulled the 2 bolts out of the slip clutch right there. This is what's going on the spline shaft on the flywheel of the stump grinder. So we're gonna try to get this side fitted on and bolted up, and then we'll fit it up to the tractor. After that, we've got a little procedure to do with burning in the clutch and setting the springs. And everything came really nice and greased up. This is just a little inspection port. Right there. So I don't know if you can see through there, but those holes are lined up with the groove. Now those bolts need to go back in and be tightened down, and we should be good.
See?
Hey, it worked. And then these safety chains here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rip these bags off. Got another one back here. Gonna rip that one off as well. And then we're just going to let me read the directions on this. There's a 15-minute process.
Can you believe a man just said he's gonna read the directions?
What?
Dude, you just got a corner cut out of your man card.
Rotating shaft.
So you may be asking, where's the women? There's no Tony out here on RRanchAdventures. They had date night, so tonight's for the boys. They had movie night.
Your wife, sister-in-law, and your mother had a date night?
Woman date. Girls night.
Special.
Having fun under there, bud?
So much fun. It's in
So
such an
all
easy to
these
get spot.
slip clutch bolts have to be loosened till the end, and then they have to be tightened back so the spring stack height is 1.26 inches, and that's for 15 to 20 horsepower. This is a 25 horsepower tractor, but it's only 17 horsepower at the PTO. So we've got to set it for the 17 horsepower range because that's what the PTO is. So don't set this for what your tractor rating is, because that's not necessarily the horsepower that you're getting at the PTO.
We're gonna put a mark across the friction pads on the slip clutch here. That way we can confirm slippage.
For the clutch break-in procedure, you're supposed to loosen all the nuts on all the springs, turn the PTO on twice, about 3 seconds each time, and then stop the PTO. After that, you check the plates to see if they slipped.
As you can see by our marks there, we got plenty of slippage. So we're gonna go ahead and cinch those up to 1.26 inches. Probably gonna round that out to just 1 1/4. Can you see if that spring is 1 1/4?
One and a quarter.
So 1.26 inches for this horsepower is what the spring should be compressed to. We just went to 1.25. Hopefully that's close enough. I don't think that little bit's gonna make a difference. So we should be set up and ready to grind some stumps here this weekend. What do you guys think? Brexton? Think we're ready?
Ready or not, here we come.
That's right, here we come. All right, so we've got this installed. We got the slip clutch set up. The only thing left to do is to tighten the teeth on here, but it's starting to get dark and it's hot. So we're gonna wait to do that. The other thing we're gonna do is check all of our grease zerts, make sure everything is greased before we put it into operation. However, it looks like MechMaxx did a great job of greasing everything. We're just gonna double check everything before we actually start grinding a stump this weekend. But there you have it. There's what you have to do to assemble the MechMaxx SG24 Stump Grinder. Pretty sweet. I'm excited to give it a test run. If you found this video helpful, please smash that like button and subscribe. And as always, go have an adventure of your own.